Welcome back to this Git crash course brought to you by Halibian Solution Limited. In the past lesson, we looked at how to create a remote repository and how to add a remote repository to our local repository. Now, in this video, we're going to be looking at how to push and pull changes. So when pushing, I'll make all this. So pushing, when you have made changes to your local repository and want to send those changes to a remote repository, e.g. GitHub, GitLab, you push the changes. This command updates the remote repository with the latest changes, making them available to others who have access to the remote repository. The syntax for pushing is as follows. You do git push, then the remote, then the branch you want to push. For example, to push changes from your local branch named main to the remote repository called origin, you do git push origin main. This is what I'm saying. So I will open my terminal now and then I'll clear everything I have here. So remember, if I should do git remote now, the name of my origin, the name of my remote is origin, and the name of my branch is master. So if I want to push to the master branch now, I will do git push the name, which is origin, then I will do master. I want to push my master branch. So if I should hit enter, so I've been able to push my changes now. So you can see we have git push origin master, we have all these, we have all these, and we have all this. We've been able to push. Now if I should go back to my remote repository now, if I should refresh this, so if I should refresh this now, now you can see all the files I made inside my git class. You can see everything is now here. That is, have been able to push my changes from my local machine down to a remote repository. So this is how to push to your remote repository. So pulling, how do you pull from a remote repository? Now let's say, for instance, when other collaborators have made changes to the remote repository and you want to incorporate those changes in your local repository, you pull the changes. This command fetches the changes from the remote repository and automatically merge them into your current branch. The syntax for pulling is as follows. You do git pull the name of your remote repository and then the branch. So let's say, for instance, I made changes in this remote repository. So I'll go to class.html. So I'm in class.html now. So I want to make some changes here. So I will say edit this file. Remember, I am making changes from my remote repository. So I will say this is from my remote repository. So I'll commit these changes. So I'll say I edited the class file in my remote repo. So I'll commit the changes now. So this change is now updated in my remote repository. Now if I should go to my terminal and do git status here, you can see what it's telling me. It's telling me this branch is still what is still updated, that is not yet, sorry, is still updated. That's what it's telling me. Now if I should do git pull, what is the name of my remote origin and what is the name of the branch, that is master. So if I should do git pull origin master, I've been able to pull my remote changes down to my local machine. Now if I should do code just to view it on an editor, I want to open it to my VS Code, so I want to see how it looks like here. So if I should go to class, so you can see this is from my remote repository. That is, I made changes in my remote repository and I've been able to pull it down to my local repository. So if I should make changes here, definitely I should be able to push down to my remote repository. So that is how to push and pull from one repository to another. That is how to do that. So fetching and pulling changes. The git fetch command is used to retrieve changes from a remote repository without automatically merging them into your local branch. It only updates your remote tracking branches, allowing you to see what changes have been made in the remote repository. Unlike pull, git fetch does not modify your working directory. The syntax is as follows. You use, for example, you use git fetch then the remote. For example, to fetch changes from the remote repository origin, you do git fetch origin. Now if I should do git fetch origin here, remember there's no active change, so I just did git fetch origin. Sorry, git fetch origin. So there's no actual change here. So what I want to do now is I'll go to my remote repository and made some other changes. So I'll make changes to my home.html. So I'll say this is from my remote repo. So I'll commit the changes and then give it a name. So I said I edited the home file from my remote repo. So I'll commit these changes now. Now that does not mean I should have my home here. It is updated. Look at it, it's not yet updated, but I've done some update, I've done some changes here. So now if I should do git fetch origin, now I've only fetched, I did not modify my code. I only fetch. You can see it didn't modify my code, it only fetched the what, the changes. If I should do git status here, so you can see everything is clean, that is, nothing is modified yet. So the difference between git pull and git fetch is that git pull will modify your code, while git fetch just make you see okay there is a change in it, but it will not modify your code. It's until I put git pull that's when the changes will be modified. So if I should do git pull, I put the name origin and I put the branch I want to merge. So if I should do git pull origin master, so now if I should go to my home file now, so you can see this is from my remote repo. So you can see the difference between git pull and git fetching. So we have cloning a git repository. Cloning a git repository. How do you clone a repository in Git? Cloning is the process of recreating a copy of a remote repository, of a Git remote repository on your local machine. This is typically the first step you want to take when starting to work on a project hosted on a server like GitHub or GitLab. Cloning not only copies the entire repository but also sets up the remote connection automatically, so you can easily push and pull changes to and from the remote repository. To clone a Git remote repository, you use the git clone command followed by the URL and the remote repository you want to clone. The syntax is as follows. So let's say, for example, you want to clone a particular repository, so we are going to be working with it directly now. So in the next video, I will be showing you how to clone a Git repository. So let me see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.